All right, everybody. Working out a little bit of feedback here. Let's see if we can get it situated.
It's your feedback, actually.
You mute. Okay.
Listen, I know the problem.
Okay. I guess I have to wear my headphones. As funny as it looks, that's where we're headed tonight. So it's not about that. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy lives to visit with us. Peter and I just had a bit of an impulse, didn't we? We decided it was too important not to share. And so even though this was a bit last minute, we want to welcome all of you who are attending live and those of you that will be listening on the recording as well. So some of you I've met, some of you are new. My name is Chantal Howard. I've been working in the background of our family life for the last 10 years in this space. And we are just excited to kind of merge our passions. So let's go ahead and jump in here, and I'm going to welcome Peter to the mic, and he's going to introduce everybody.
Okay, well, hopefully everybody here. Is it a little loud there? Okay, you can help me to adjust it. Is that better? How's that? Is that better? Okay. You all can give me a thumbs up too. I'm not used to actually doing this side by side with microphones. And so anyway, as long as you can hear me and see me clearly, that's great. Like as Chantal said, it's a joy to be with everyone here. It is the last minute webinar that we did, but in light of the conversations that we have, especially with the FSI prayer group that we have during the weekdays, and the growing interest that we see in our Telegram feed, that is, I think, well, I think it's one of the best news feeds you can get out there. There is a growing sense of we need to be very proactive in making sure that we are prepared, not just spiritually, but we need to be prepared in a very biblical sense for our physical life, our material needs, especially because what's happening around us, the signs of our times, are simply undeniable. Costs going up, diesel shortages, supply chain issues, war, growing global war, you could say, what's happening in Europe already, what's already been taking place in the United States. All of us go to the grocery stores, and I find a lot of things that I'm looking for, I have to wait to get it. And then the other thing is I had to find too that, it's a lot more expensive. So one of the things I'm going to unmute myself here. One of the important things for the FSI community is something that was very dear to Fulton Sheen, and many people don't really talk about it. But as you know, he was a man who was the head of the Society for the Propagation of the Faith, which was in charge of all the missions of the church around the world. And so he had a great passion for health. Because why? Because one, missionaries can't be very effective if they're sick, or if they're dying, or, so if we want to be able to spread the gospel, it's like St. Irenaeus says, the glory of God is man fully alive. And we all have responsibilities to our spouses, to our children, to our community, to others who are waiting to receive the good news of Christ through us. And I know that when I'm down and out, I really can't. So as we look at all these things going on, one of the big things is, how do we get control of those things that God has always intended us to have control over? And the biggest one, of course, next to our interior life, but is our health. And that health is a word that means, comes from a word that means wholeness. And so one of the things that has been always important for us has been, how do we do this? How do we take control of our health, of our finances, of, all those kinds of things that when I grew up was never really an issue. So in light of this climate, I wanted to work with Chantal, who's an expert really in this area in what we've chosen, which is essential oils. So you need to get muted? All right, because I was going to talk about our meeting with the North Idaho guys.
Okay, so we've got some funny little audio glitches, which means like we can't both be talking at the same time. So we have to like signal to each other to mute and unmute. But anyway, I wanted to welcome those of you that are directly involved and coming to us from our oil community, because I know some of you were like, wait, what's the FSI? So Fulton Sheen Institute, some of you are experiencing that for the first time. So we've got two worlds converging, my essential oil community and Peter's work within the Fulton Sheen Institute. So it's kind of fun to see us all converge on the topic tonight, especially because it is so relevant for, like Peter said, just the nature of caring for our families. And so welcome to those of you coming to us from either realm, so to speak. All right, Peter. So one of the things that we thought we'd share with you tonight is a little bit about, well, actually, I'm going to pull up the slideshow. Let's do that, shall we? And we'll jump in here, and Peter's going to share with you a little bit about our North Idaho mindset as it relates to some of the things that he in particular has been leading the charge on for our family. And I think this will be really helpful. Some of you may or may not know. Just 1 second. I gotta eliminate. Just 1 second here. All of these other presentations. Okay, now I should be able to share. Oh, the joys of tech. All right, now let's see. Oh, still doesn't want to let me go. Sorry about that. Well, as I'm getting this prepped, suffice it to say, up here in North Idaho, we live in a pretty unique place in the world. It's a place where people gather intentionally to live a life that's close to traditional values and freedom, and it's a place where, to be honest, it's a little bit of a bubble left in the world, and there's a lot of very like-minded individuals here, both in the faith space, but also in natural living and being forward thinking about taking care of our families, our health responsibilities. And so in light of that, we just thought it would be fun to share. I mean, the winter is coming physically, but it's also coming in a lot of other ways. We all feel that pressure. The winter is coming in the minds of people after COVID. It's still lingering. There's a darkness that many people experience in their emotional life, in their mental health, within the context of their families, their finances, and it can feel really lonely and dark and a little bit uncertain. And so we just thought we would let you in on how we're handling that, because we are a family of, I would say, extraordinary hope in the midst of being very realistic and not being afraid of the truth of what's before us. So as we've already welcomed you all, welcome again, Fulton Sheen Institute and the Faithful Oil Mom kind of converging here for you tonight. It's our beautiful little family. Here is a glimpse into our world up here in North Idaho. We have 5 beautiful daughters and 1 little man. He can get stuck right there in the middle a little bit. We also have a beautiful granddaughter, Josephine. So this is our clan, and it is very important that they're the ones that inform our why. They inform our hearts on how we form them spiritually, how we care for their health, how we provide for them, how we seek to be present to be able to homeschool them and live a life that is truly, again, it's not perfect. It's not always ideal, but it's in constant pursuit of purity and constant pursuit of the truth. And that is the hallmark of our family. That combined with our emerging passion to sing together, which seems to be one of the hallmarks of our home. So that gives you a little glimpse into us. And so I wanted to share this picture with you. This was, Peter, go ahead. Why don't you take it from there? I'll mute myself and let you explain this one.
Okay, well, yes, I was trying to pull it up on mine as well, so it's nice that we have some redundancy here. This is a couple weeks ago. a group of us at the parish. It's really a men's group that was started not very long ago, but it was inspired after a retreat that we had just for men. And it was, how do we continue things and talk about our needs in our community and amidst the challenges of our times. And so we started what's called the Rosary and Rifle Group. And, out here, most men have at least one firearm. Um, and we have, ex-military or retired military, former police officers and things. But it was like, how do we do this? How do we continue to build each other up? And so we have these spontaneous meetings even after mass. We went into our little library resource room, and we said, hey, what are the things we should be thinking about as things get tough? And these are very intelligent men, and we had a couple of women slip in there too, because they had some they wanted to contribute some ideas. And here's what, by the time we were done, we broke it down as far as the essentials every single family should have in their in their thought process. And if you look at this, we basically broke it down to, in that top left corner, you can see you have to have a plan for water, you have to have a plan for food, a plan for waste, a plan for transportation, your fuel, tools, communications, medicine. It's like, wow. And so as we start going through this, like, what can we communicate to the average person who may not be thinking about these things? But especially for us, do we have these things? Because the threats that we have are very real. If you live in Europe, I mean, they're already talking about rolling blackouts during the winter, not having enough fossil fuels for people's homes, for heat. And that's going to affect a lot of things. They've kind of just, cut their own head off with this. And we are facing some similar challenges in the United States. These aren't conspiracies or anything like this is happening, and it's right before us. And so one of the things was, how do we, if we don't have these things, how can we be a help to others? If I have more, what can I be giving to my neighbor? If something happens in one and I don't have it, well, how can they contribute to us? These things are very important. In other words, know your community. And what are the things that we can get access to now before things get really, really bad? And what do I mean by that? For example, they just announced yesterday that all the mega banks are working on a central bank digital currency. It has nothing to do with a new kind of money. It's about controlling what we can do with what they give us access to. And all chief economists know what's going on with that. So in other words, we want to be able to control what we have. So for us, it was, let's start with food and health. And for over 10 years, this has actually been in our thought process. And for us, it was for medicine and health. How do I optimize those kinds of things so that I'm fit in a time of crisis to be able to help others? I'm fit to continue to do what I'm doing with the Fulton Sheen Institute. Because right now we depend on each other for the truth, for hope, and for other things. And so the essential oils, as you'll see, it's actually listed like a few down from the medicine one, is really important, because as we've discovered, they go to the heart of what we need most in our health, and that is cellular health. So I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to share on that before we jump right into it. Okay.
Find the chat if you haven't yet. I'd love to know where you're all from. Looks like Marty is jumping in here from Minnesota. So feel free to share there and share your thoughts. I'd love your feedback throughout the course of tonight in terms of, are you experiencing similar struggles, thoughts, feelings, what's going on in your world? And for the sake of tonight, in light of this, it does come down to the fact that we're at a point where we do need to lean into each other's wisdom. And so tonight is about sharing what we have to offer. I have been working in the space of essential oils for the last 10 years, as Peter mentioned. I've thousands of clients across the country and the world, and I coach men and women in 40 different countries. This is not a little enterprise. This is actually something we do significantly to support our family and honestly to support the Fulton Sheen Institute. So in light of that, what I want to share with you tonight is just get real practical. The 3 ways to use oils. There are 3 ways that you can, whoops, there we go. The why behind the essential oils and really just how to get started so that you can begin to feel equipped. So the first and most important thing is that essential oils are safe. They're effective. They're natural. They are easy to use. They're effective and affordable. And so as a form of natural medicine, which has been time tested and really just been around forever, and then improved and enhanced through craftsmanship, through sourcing models, through testing, to become not only just something that, yeah, stood the test of time, but now is actually standing up against, some of the biggest challenges that we face in our health. And so I just want you to understand the fundamentals here. And that is, again, they're safe, they're effective, they're easy to use. They're effective because, like Peter said, they get to the heart of our cellular health. They're what we call lipophilic. They're attracted to fat. Every single cell in our body, the mitochondria, that coating around the cell that actually opens and closes the conversation around the dialogue of what comes in and what comes out, is fat. And that is the where those cellular receptors are, and that's where the chemical communication at a cellular level happens. So essential oils can dialogue at that level, unlike a lot of mainstream medications, which are hydrophilic or synthetic and don't have that ability. So when we look at God's beautiful design, these chemical compounds are just perfectly situated to converse with our bodies. We like plants, we have the same author, the same designer. And so it's no wonder that these chemicals dialogue at a cellular level to help us with things like impacting our immunity, affecting our hormones, dialoguing with our neurotransmitters to address brain function and other types of, communication with our nervous system. So it's a very all-encompassing approach. They're safe. Obviously, there's going to be some parameters to that. I'm not going to ever invite you to drink a whole bottle or put them in your eyes or do something foolish. I'm also not going to make a claim that they're going to cure cancer and, solve every problem. These essential oils are geared towards being part of our health plan that keeps us from dipping down into the place of deficiency and brokenness. Okay. So essential oils are a wellness tool primarily. That being said, they do have some remarkable support. So, the disclaimers out there, right? Essential oils aren't meant to treat, cure, any of that stuff. We're not doctors. We're here to share our own personal experience, and especially what I've learned and gleaned over 10 years of being a certified essential oil health coach. So that being said, I want to give you just a few examples here. On the page, you see peppermint. Peppermint is a simple tool that can be used in a versatile way. This is one of our favorites. It's cooling to the body. It's energizing. It's helpful for addressing respiratory issues. It's going to be supportive for digestive health, and it's going to be pain relieving. On Guard is a blend. Now, again, before I go any further, we are talking about doTERRA oils. Some of you may be familiar with doTERRA. They're a global company. In our opinion, they're absolutely the cream of the crop. We wouldn't promote anything we didn't feel like we could put in our own bodies. So we're going to just share from that perspective tonight. Some of you may have heard of a thieves blend, or a blend that was utilized during the plague. Well, this is an enhanced and developed version of that with cinnamon and clove, eucalyptus, rosemary, and wild orange. And so this blend in particular is the #1 essential oil I want you to have in your medicine cabinet. And that is for your immune health in particular. So that is, whoops, just got out of that. Need to do that. There we go. So that is where we're going to use are On Guard. And then you see lavender. Lavender, of course, so many of you might be familiar with. This is going to be a calming oil and just an example of another oil that is super simple to use and effective. And you'll notice they're under affordable. Essential oils are pennies per drop. When you're buying a bottle like this, it's like you're buying in bulk. And it is very, very supportive and helpful to use these oils. And so we're going to use them. A little bit goes a long way. The primary ways that you can use them: aromatically and topically. These are your two primary ways. Aromatically, you're going to use them through a diffuser and breathe them in and inhale them and use them for respiratory health, reaching down into the plasma of the lungs, actually systemically then reaching into your whole body, or topically applied to areas of discomfort. You see a couple examples on here tonight. And the third way that we use our essential oils, which is a privilege with the doTERRA model, is to use them internally with awareness. You can use them in your water to detoxify. You can use them in a capsule or in a supplement form and actually take them to impact gut health. And so there's a lot of versatility here, and I want to teach you how to do that. I want to teach you how to use them effectively throughout the course of our time together, both tonight and moving forward.
You know, essential oils comes up a lot in conversations behind the scenes, not just because people wonder what I'm using, because I always have them out, but there's the question too of, you know, I've heard that the oils, I've heard Father so-and-so talk about like using natural things, and we shouldn't be doing that because, they're people in witchcraft use them or the New Age use them. And it's extremely dangerous. And I wanted to kind of incorporate that into this as the theologian, asked to mention to our talk, kind of like the commentary to the science of it, is that, and I wonder if I can put this on the screen, if I can share my screen just really quick. How do I do that? There we go. Let me share this just for 1 second. There we go. Share that. Is God has directed us to everything that he's given us in creation for our own health. And today we hear what? Trust the science, trust the science. It's become the new God, trust the science for everything. What's awesome about essential oils and what we use with the doTERRA oils is because we find the perfect blend of, one, essential oils taken from the earth directly without any adulteration in the purest form. And then it's combined with the science that we have today that allows us to really extract what are the properties, how do these things really interact with our body, how powerful these things are. Essential oils have huge antiviral properties, and nothing else that we know of can communicate with our cells like a pure essential oil can. And that's what makes the difference. A virus goes in, tricks the cell, gets in, and then contaminates it, and then ultimately destroys it or mutates it. Well, essential oils go in and make sure that the cells work exactly as God created them to be. And so I put these scriptures on the screen because when people say, well, we shouldn't touch these things, I'll be very blunt. That is not of God. It is absolutely a misinformation that the devil's trying to put out there to keep us from using what God has given us. The word for witchcraft comes from a Greek word, meaning magic, called pharmakia. It's where we get our word pharmaceutical. Pharmaceuticals are simply synthetic replications of what essential oils and natural compounds are, and with millions of side effects. So what does it say in scripture? I want to point out to these passages, screenshot it, give this to your friends. One of my favorites is from Sirach. The Lord created medicines from the earth, and a sensible man will not despise them. In Ezekiel, their fruit is used for food and their leaves for healing. Revelation 22, the leaves of the tree serve as medicine for the nations. Proverbs 21, this is the wisdom literature. Precious treasure and oil are in the house of the wise. And the last one from, let's move this, 1 Timothy, for everything created by God is good, and nothing is to be rejected when received with thanksgiving. These are very important because when we're talking about essential oils, we're talking about going really to the heart of what God has given us. And having used them now for 10 years, I was really the guinea pig in so much of this. I've seen them do extraordinary things for my family, especially in very difficult situations. Middle of nowhere, Canada camping, daughters come down with pneumonia. This is like right after we got them. And we're like, well, what do? We got frankincense, On Guard that my mother mentioned, lemon, peppermint, maybe like one other oil. But we knew that those oils had the properties that we would need to help if it is pneumonia, because it certainly seemed like it was. We didn't have a doctor. We gave it to our kids, and over the span of a week, it actually healed them of that pneumonia. They had the coughing and all that stuff, but it really had, it was incredible effects on them. So this is why this is so important. Essential oils aren't everything, but we do use them for practically everything. I always say, you saw that big thing on the board that we had, all those things. Every family needs to have nutrition, which is huge. What you eat is critical. Essential oils, you need to have, and your other supplements, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, quercetin. These are huge things that we now know. I mean, tons of studies were suppressed during COVID. Now they're finally being revealed. Of course, is the whole, as we know, the sham behind all of that. And now people can get control of their health. So like these are 3 different dimensions: nutrition, supplements, essential oils, among the panoply of things. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else with Chantal. All I know is that this is our time where we're stocking up on them, not just for ourselves, but we've already been sharing them with friends and others who realize, what am I going to do when I can't get something from the pharmacy, or Walmart's all out of other things, painkillers, or just simple things. So anyway, I think this is important, and it's beautiful too, because we're sharing this impromptu, and there's, as Chantal will talk about, there are certain oils right now that we can get at a discount. But I like to focus on not only those kinds, but those that are strong for our immunity. I'd like to have a webinar just on immunity and what oils we would really need for that, because going into the winter time, especially depending on where you live, if you're up here with the north where we have very little sunlight, the deficiencies that we're going to have, even like I said, with the vitamins too, I mean, the lack of vitamin D, but other things that can just help us keep our metabolism and other things working well. Essential oils, I believe, are, no pun intended, essential for everyone's medicine cabinet. And to the extent that one can, I'd rather have natural things where I don't have to worry about side effects, and it's just optimizing my health to fight whatever the variant that comes out next and anything else. We're ready to go. So, all right. So I'm going to stop my share and go back to Chantal here. I know I can keep going and going.
I think this is kind of fun. Do you all see my screen now? There we go. Okay. So we're going to lean into the topic of this BOGO box, because that's kind of what spurred this whole thing on to begin with. Is we were like, darn, this is such a good deal. So helpful to people to get started. And the kit just happens to really include some of my absolute most favorite essential oils. If I could really put it together, this lineup is pretty dang remarkable. And I think that just goes to show that doTERRA is pretty thoughtful around what they generate and why they put it out. They're very timely and attentive. So the whole thing tonight is that you can get a hold of these 10 essential oils for the price of 5. So it's basically a buy one, get one throughout. So I just want to run through them quickly. I am afraid that we may have a shortage on this timer on my web system. So I'm apologizing if for whatever reason we get kicked out. Please just click the link again and come right back in so that we can finish. I apologize for if that does happen, but hopefully I hope we don't run out of time. Okay, so doTERRA On Guard. The On Guard, like I mentioned earlier, and I had given you kind of a preview of a few that we really love. On Guard is a combination, like I mentioned, of a bunch of different essential oils that come together to help really support the immune system. You can screenshot this if you want. This is very generic and basic, but you can use On Guard in a veggie capsule on the first onset of any kind of immune threat and take that down. My favorite way to do it is to actually put it in water and gargle it. The clove is a little bit soothing to the back of the throat. It's very effective with the lymph nodes. And I can't even count how many times we have had a viral something kicking around, and this just stops it in its tracks and and we are able to move forward without it blooming, so to speak, into the immune system, which is what a virus does. It literally spreads from our cells, replicating it, as we all have become master virologists over the last 2 years. So On Guard is a powerhouse, and it's absolutely the number one oil you need in your home. In fact, I recommend that every family has at least 3 bottles on hand at any given time, because once one person starts going, right, inevitably everybody else starts going, and you want to be able to use it sufficiently. It's not enough to just say, oh, I did a drop today, right? When you're coming on with something, you got to use it frequently. And that's one of the tools around using essential oils safely, is it's a little bit more frequently. So a drop under the tongue or in water, gargled and supportive every hour or 2 hours is going to help stay on top of it. Essential oils metabolize very fast in the body, so you have to keep frequenting them, which does require a little bit more responsibility in order for them to be effective. But it's also a good sign when something is processed through your body naturally, and it's not taxing your liver or your kidneys or any other body systems for 24, 48, who knows how long, with some of these medications that live on in our bodies and even don't fully exit because of their toxic insult to the body. So you can see some fun ways here. We've got using this for cleaner. You can use it in your food. You can combine it to moisturize your hands. Just some fun ideas. Breathe is the next one in the lineup of our BOGO kit tonight, and that is a respiratory blend. This has been a powerhouse. Peter could go on and on talking about how this has supported him in his respiratory challenges over the course of the last, well, he has asthma, so it goes without saying that when he can't breathe, it's no fun. And so he has utilized his essential oils to support him in that many times. And Breathe is one of those that would be helpful for any kind of respiratory challenge. It's got tea tree oil, it has lemon, it has ravensara, it has peppermint, it has cardamom, and I don't know if I'm remembering all of them, but that's the gist of this blend. And it really is basically a natural form of Vicks. It's not a petroleum product. You can apply it on your chest. You can put it in a diffuser. This is going to be incredibly helpful, and has been. We had multiple rounds of COVID, and we had to address these things from a natural perspective. And I'll never forget the breathe on my chest. I was needing that support, and it's so consoling to have a tool on your hands ready to go. Again, stock up. This is one you should have on hand. Whoop. All right. Our next combination for you tonight that we're going to look at is copaiba, black spruce, and Roman chamomile. And these are a little bit more obscure. Maybe you haven't heard of these. So I'm going to lean into copaiba first. Copaiba, or copaiba, if you say it with the right Latin American flair, copaiba is sourced out of Brazil. It is high in beta carotene, one of the 3 chemicals that people try to source through the plant of marijuana. But this isn't from marijuana. It's taken from a beautiful big tree down in the Amazon, and you tap it almost like you would maple syrup. And this oil comes out, this resin oil. And so this is a very subtle oil. It's very mild to the taste, could be an excellent support under the tongue to impact the whole nervous system, because the beta carotene and the structure of this oil interacts with the endocannabinoid system, which is, you know what CBD oil is, or cannabis, right? Like it has that same kind of root, endocannabinoid system. And that is going to influence these little receptors all throughout the body. So this is a great pain relief oil, a great immune oil, incredible for the nervous system, helpful for calming anxiety. I mean, the versatility of this oil is up there next to frankincense as being one of my favorite go-tos. You can see some examples here on the screen. It's a little bit small, but you can use this again internally. You can use it topically. You can use this in your water. You can use this for oral cleansing. Oral health is so important, especially tying it to heart health. You can use this in a massage format. This is going to be one of those I would lean into immediately if someone was feeling feverish or uncomfortable or had another immune challenge. Now, black spruce is a really unique wood oil as well. And you'll see there's quite a bit of wood oils emphasized tonight, because wood oils do have a particular capacity to enhance the T cells in our immune system. Black spruce in particular is one that has been really known for its ability to reach deeper into the lung tissue. And again, so respiratory, you're seeing some repeated patterns here. It smells like heaven, in my opinion. I love being up here in North Idaho and going to the mills and actually smelling the fresh cut lumber and going, these smell just like my oils. And so this is going to be, again, an oil for both your health, but also for your comfort and for your peace of mind. And in times of distress, in times of anxiety, one of the greatest things that we saw through COVID and the lesson we learned was that isolation and mental stress is one of the biggest killers. And that is why I really do believe in supporting you both with these tools, but also supporting you with the mindset and the spiritual components that you can pair with this. So honestly, I would love for you to pull this out before you pray your rosary. Massage it on the back of your neck or on your hands or over the surface of your rosary, or just before you read scripture. And this is going to be one of those oils that helps you go, oh my goodness, this is one of the, it has kind of an earthy, ancient, woody smell to it. And it helps transport us, not in a woo-woo, new age way, like Peter said, but in a true way. It helps us recollect and calm our minds and focus our attention, because it does it at a cellular level. It's calming all of those neurons that are firing when we're super anxious, and it helps settle our digestive system and so forth. So love this oil. Roman chamomile. Okay, so chamomile, we all know from chamomile tea. This is just a beautiful rendition of chamomile. So calming, so refreshing, gentle as all get out. This is great for the skin, any skin irritation, rashes, psoriasis, eczema, any kind of challenges for little people. I would harvest this oil right away, even for someone as small as an infant. You can dilute it. Diluting oils is an important component. Tonight, I'm not getting into a lot of the technical. I know that there's a lot more you need to learn and we want to teach you, but tonight is really about just whetting your appetite, getting you some good tools right away, and we will do the deeper dive later. So herbal teas, you can use this. Oops.
Just might want to give
Time
like a minute or two
Yeah,
warning.
we might.
I've had that happen to
Yeah,
me
I'll
too,
let you
where
know when
I'll
get the warnings.
we get cut off. So I want everybody just now is like, if that should happen, that's going to happen to me too, because I'm actually I'm joined as well. Just get right back on. Okay. 10 seconds.
We're flying by the seat of our pants all tonight. Okay, so deep blue is a combination. And again, this is a proprietary blend. This is your pain relief. I want you to think everything achy, pain, joints, muscles, any kind of bumps, bruising, you name it. This is your natural anti-inflammatory support for sciatica, for torn muscles, for broken bones, and again, I'm not claiming that this is going to like instantly make a broken bone better, but it is going to bring instant relief, and it's not going to tax your gut like a lot of those other types of anti-inflammatories will. And again, maybe you partner it with an ibuprofen or with other medications. We're not totally anti-medicine. We know there's times and appropriate applications for that, of course. But the beautiful thing here is that you really can get this into your system, on your system right away. So the oil and the stick are two different variants. The oil you can use for migraine headaches, pulling it up into your hair or the back of your neck on the brainstem. The rub, or the stick rather, you can use more for muscles and joints. And the beautiful thing about that is that you don't have to touch it, because it's so analgesic. You'll feel it all over your skin. And so a lot of times that can make people feel a little bit like, whoa, I just put an icy hot type burning sensation, and it feels good, but at the same time, it might not be what you want on your hands or across your eyes or so forth, right? You can touch your face and feel like, whoa, that's too much. So using the stick, you can apply it and your hands don't have to have that contact with the oil. So I just want you to think about powerful relief. And I use this on injuries from my gymnastics years. I know a gentleman who's building our home right now, and he just every day he has a sciatica challenge. It's just every day in his tool belt, just breaking out some deep blue. And so I want you to experience the benefits of this. It's wintergreen, peppermint, blue chamomile, German chamomile. It has blue tansy, which is actually a compound that's generated when we steam distill yarrow, and it's called chemazoline. And the blue tansy is also similar, and it makes this chemazoline occur in the process, which is dark blue, and that's where it gets its blue tint from. It also has osmanthus, very powerful essential oil combination. All right, and then our last two here that I'm going to share with you tonight is cassia and wild orange. Cassia is a warming oil. It's in the spice family, like cinnamon. In fact, it's a biblical oil. You'll hear it referenced. It also happens to be my goddaughter's name, which I just love. Cassia is one that's going to help with metabolism, lowering blood sugar, keeping blood sugar levels balanced, as well as blood pressure. This is going to be an oil combination that I would encourage you to use. Cassia and wild orange together are going to be lovely this time of year. Again, emotionally uplifting, warming to the skin. So this would be one that you would want to use, with a carrier oil, but perhaps use if you were feeling like you needed an additional support in terms of supporting your immune system in particular. So cassia is lovely. Again, think metabolism, think healthy digestion, think of using this to enhance your prayer life, as well as making your home feel festive and warm and comforting in the midst of these seasons of uncertainty. Now, wild orange, it doesn't get much more beautiful than this. I think it's almost impossible to smell wild orange and stay upset or angry. This is a big mood oil. In addition, it's cleansing for surfaces. You can put it in your water for detoxifying from heavy metals. It's high in D-limonene, which is going to help your skin cells and your cells in general. And I love it's a great oil to pair with many other things: peppermint, frankincense, etc. So very energizing and beautiful. Last one that is a freebie kind of to this combination is Northern Escape. Reminds me of North Idaho. When push comes to shove, you all can come up here. Northern Escape is a combination of oils that are sourced all over the place. We have black spruce, Siberian fir, balsam fir, lavandin, cedarwood, cypress, hinoki, frankincense, nootka, cananga, and clove. This is a beautiful, beautiful combination of oils. When you unlock it, it just smells like the forest. And again, you have black spruce as a single oil. This is a combination with frankincense in particular, which I cannot emphasize that value enough. Frankincense is the king of oils. It's the oil that honestly, if I had to have for anything, I would use for skin, for immunity, for all the purposes. And so I was so excited to see that that's incorporated in here for you tonight. So as we kind of come to the close of this particular conversation, there's a lot more that you can do. You can use these essential oils for these kind of targeted purposes or emergency needs or immediate needs, but there's also a lifestyle component in terms of supplementation, in terms of daily support, energy, sleep support, and metabolic health, which is probably the #1 crisis in the space of health right now. And so MetaPower is a combination of products that I'm just kind of flashing on the screen tonight for you as a glimpse into how you could grow your health journey forward on a more regular and consistent basis. I think you want to say something.
I was just going to say, yeah, this is going to be a whole other webinar. This is something kind of revolutionary, I think, that's come out with doTERRA, and it introduced me to something completely different called health span versus lifespan. So we'll leave that as a teaser, but that learning the difference is amazing.
Okay, so I want to start leaning into what questions you have. Practically speaking, you can get the BOGO box. Peter's going to put the link in the chat. Again, it's $140 US. If you're overseas, we can set up a link for you. This is basically buy one, get one. So imagine 140 times 2 is what you typically would pay just to get this kit into your home. So it's a huge savings. If you're overseas, we can set you up with a similar solution. I have some amazing discounted kits as well. This particular collection is US and Canada only. So Peter's going to send the link out in just a minute in the chat box. It also came to you in the email. Should you become a wholesale customer? Yes, the wholesale customer membership is free with the BOGO box, so it's a no-brainer. You end up with the membership for future purchases that just gives you a 25% discount. You have two options. You can purchase when you want, interspersed, and just have that 25% discount, or you can use it as a subscription model where you have something each month coming to your door. I like to coach you on that so that you're choosing good things and you're using, yes, an LRP, your loyalty reward program. You can buy it, Emily, as an LRP product right now. You'll have free shipping included and 140 PV, which is basically in doTERRA language. You get credit then for up to 30% of that back to purchase additional products. We have a huge family. We use essential oils and these natural products for everything, but I save money to do it. It's pretty cool. Is that the link? I think that's it. You better double check that. That looks like gibberish. Let's hope that's the right link. We can test it out. Here's a few.
That's the link.
Okay.
It's been tested. Believe me, everyone does. Make sure it's a full copy and paste, or just click it as in there right now. But it is. That's it.
Okay. And then here's a few recommended add-ons. I think frankincense, lemon, lavender, peppermint, a breathe stick, the On Guard throat drops, On Guard Plus. These are, if there's anything else, I would just say, hey, throw into your prepare for winter kit. These would be some of them. You can snap a quick link, screenshot of that. We will have more specials and promotions as we go into Christmas. They usually do emphasize frankincense. So it may be something, if you get your membership this month, next month, you'll be prepared for the frankincense promotion. Okay, we actually made it through our slide presentation. I think at this point, we're holding on for dear life with our web time. We can all come back on, but I'd love to know what else you need to know in order to make you feel comfortable stepping into this space. Did you want to say something?
I'm muted. Nope. I just think this is a great opportunity to ask questions. That's for sure. Like I said, I was the guinea pig, and I'm a pretty tough person to convince on things. But man, like I said, it's now our lifestyle. And when you're missionary family and things like that, that's always a big deal. So you always want to find out how do you have control and afford it.
So I wanted to answer Carmen's question. I did not purchase with the BOGO purchase. Can I still be a wholesale customer free for that purchase? I'm a little confused. Did you get the BOGO or did you not? If you got the BOGO, the membership's included. That being said, actually, Carmen, excuse me, I looked up to see how you purchased it. I couldn't find you. So we need to just connect so that we make sure that you that it went through properly, because I actually called doTERRA and they said that they couldn't find you as a customer. So I wanted to make sure that the order actually went through. So let's make sure we double check on that. You can send us an email and troubleshoot that. The BOGO only lasts through, I believe, Friday or until it runs out.
This Friday.
Okay, so this is like a do it tonight kind of thing, so that you don't miss out, especially because it's such a good deal. And again, I think that's my favorite way to do this, right? Is to give everybody the best entry point as possible.
Walking through it.
You can follow me if you don't already. Hold on. You have to.
Okay, sorry, I'm being told to get out of this and stop. Got it.
There. Okay. You can follow me at faithfulmom.com, and then you'll get more notifications via my newsletter every week for any discounts or deals. And every week we do a really thoughtful email. We talk about different aspects of living the essential oil lifestyle. So if you don't have that already, please make sure you.
Did I not?
No, we're still going.
Are we still on?
Yep, we're still here. Anyway, yeah, please make sure you do that. It's like a circus over here. Okay. So, looks like Kevin just joined us. Any other questions before I think we'll call it? Was this helpful? Is this resonating with you? This idea of just the reality of where we're at, how to prepare, and that this might be one piece of that big puzzle. It's a big puzzle that, one, we need to pray. We have to practice having a mindset that stays forward thinking and positive so that we don't succumb to the enemy's way of thinking. He wants us depressed, frustrated, nervous, worried, anxious. Anytime you check in and you go, those are things of the enemy. So we have to learn to train our minds. But this is a piece of the puzzle. And the oils help support that too. Do you see essential oils as actually helping the root cause of an illness and not just masking the symptoms? Absolutely. That is the one thing I've heard as a criticism of them, that it makes me hesitate to grab them at times. Well, of course they can help with certain symptoms for sure. A headache, digestive comfort. My goodness, you start to feel like, your stomach is like not happy. It's going to instantly relieve that. So there's definitely symptom relief, but the biggest thing is that we are using them to help at even a much deeper level. So I don't know if that's helpful for you, Emily, but the reality is that it's not like an isolate. An isolate will overpower your system and hijack your system and kind of just take over. And that's not how this works. This works alongside of your biology, alongside of your natural systems, and basically gets your body doing what it's supposed to do again. And yeah, it means that you have to know how to use them. You have to use them frequently, and you have to make sure that you implement using them enough, not too much, but enough. And there's a little bit of an art to it. The way that we help train you up is we give you resources, an app that gives you ailment guides and the prescriptive guidelines, 3 drops of this, 6 drops of that, this frequently, apply it here, do it this way, right? We all need that, especially initially. So I will help you with that. You do not have to worry about feeling like you're just, shooting from the dark. And anytime you have a question, we have resources and you have access to us. And that's really, really important. So go ahead, Peter. He's the star of the show tonight anyway. So thank you so much. Where can I see from the start? We will have a replay for you. As much as it's been a bit of a zoo, I feel like I should just re-record, but that's okay.
What's your website to how do people?
faithfuloilmom.com. And then you can also, I'm going to give you just the shortcut link tonight, which is direct to there's you should share the link again, because if they came in late, they won't have it. Yeah. I'll give you kind of the shortcut link to order tonight. And that will get you right in.
I don't know what that is.
There it is. I just shared it again. Didn't you just?
faithfuloilmom.com, right?
Yeah. So let's click into this link here, and I'm going to share my screen to show you a walkthrough.
How do I get to the shortcut link?
Well, let's hope that you gave them. There it is. Okay, so this is the shortcut link. This is going to write in your BOGO box enrollment. If you already have an account with us, of course, you can just go to doterra.com, log in, and purchase it right through your normal process. But for the rest of you, you're going to come in here. Make sure you look for this. That lets you know that you're working with us. And you can go ahead and just proceed to checkout. It's going to ask you for your basic information and walk you through right down here, wholesale customer and faithful oil mom. Those should be the 2 things that you're looking for as you go through the process. So I think
Pretty simple.
I think it is pretty simple. So
even I can do it.
all right.
Let's see. Do I have to put that link up again?
No, I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What's your website? Did we get all the questions?
There's got to be more questions.
It was very informative. Anne, oh my goodness, Anne is one of our most faithful oilers. She is just a powerhouse down there in Tasmania, of all places, both in a prayer group as well as just using oils. Emily, did you get enough clarity Is that what you were looking for? I can give you a little bit more in depth on the nature of how the essential oils work. I mean, think about them. They're herbs, right? They're the aromatic compounds extracted. The way they do that is through steam distillation. What you're left with is just the active chemistry. Think of it as the active ingredients on a drug, right? You would look at the acetaminophen is the active ingredient of Tylenol, right? Well, essential oils, there's 3,000 different kinds of compounds from stems, root, leaves, bark, and those compounds are in their actual natural chemical construct, which means they haven't been separated out or enhanced or isolated. And there's a bit of a synergistic experience that we have as a result. They make them pretty gentle to use. They are brought into our body, they metabolize quickly, but again, they partner with the cellular conversation. That's really the thing to understand. And you can see, 37,000 plus PubMed, documentation talking about different things that they do and how they interact with the different systems in the body. So it looks like, do we have more educational programs or resources? For sure. Our community is rich with that. You get access to a beautiful community of people who are living this actively. I do different types of trainings, and then doTERRA themselves offer training, as well as, like I said, I give you access to different resources, whether it's an app. That app is my favorite way, but I also have books and websites and so forth to give you direction on more specific targeted recommendations for particular ailments. And thank you again so much. Again, we definitely strive to constantly be in pursuit of the truth, especially on this matter. I know that there's a lot of differing opinions out there. Just by choosing to have a webinar like this tonight, I know there's certain people who are just gonna, write us off forever. But others are like, hey, let's learn, let's be open. And we were skeptical, I think, in the beginning too, because we didn't want to just waltz into something that was new age or had any kind of connotation to that. And that's what we were in pursuit
I
of.
never knew anything. That was the other thing. I never knew anything different. I just grew up on nothing. I mean, I was always in a doctor's office. I was the one who's like on millions of prescriptions. And when I got into like my 30s, I said, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm never going to get healed, no matter how well I tried to do certain things. And then this got introduced, and I'm like, you know what, I'll try anything. Cause I was always like, I don't want to put money towards something that, we're paying for this and that. Either this is going to work and we're transitioning to it, or it's gone. And so I did it. And then next thing you know, it had major impact on me. And then I learned all the science later on. And I'm not kind of a geek with that stuff. And oh my gosh, when you have science really focus on serving God and his creation, it is incredible what we see revealed in and through nature. I mean, there's actually a branch of theology called natural theology.
There we go. All right, last call for questions. Okay.
Everybody get their kit.
Looks like Carmen's going to resubmit her order. Feel free to go do your order still tonight. Let me know if you have questions. Send Peter an email or myself an email. Chantal at faithfuloilmom.com. Peter at.
What's that? To contact me?
What's your email?
You could do Fulton Sheen Institute at gmail.com. That's a good one to get me at.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You could also get on our Telegram feed. Just look up Fulton Sheen Institute _official. This is actually where we have ongoing conversations outside of these meetings.
Type that in.
Oh, what happened? Was I muted?
Type your Telegram feed in there.
Oh, okay. I'll put my Telegram link in the comment section or the chat. But that's actually a great place to really put what we're talking about in the broader perspective. That's going to confirm, my goodness, I really need to have these. This isn't like, oh, maybe this is kind of a try. Like, I think people today, if you don't have control of your health, you're crazy because of what's coming toward us and what's already happened to us. So anyway, here's the feed. While my wife, let's see, I'm going to just, there it is. Click on that. And here it is in the chat. Paste. Boom. And you could also private message me on through Telegram. You'll find a lot of people there who are involved in our Rosary prayer group as well from around the world. And many of them, I was surprised to learn, have already been introduced to the oils, but they have lots of questions, or they're not happy with what they have. And they want to know, well, what about this one, this brand versus this brand? All I say is, look, this is what we use. We use it because they're the purest oils on earth. I won't waste my time or my money on anything else. There it is. And then do your research for yourself. I say, don't believe me, check it out. But in the end, you'll realize, oh, Dr. Howe was right. Or just Peter. I'll use my doctor credential from time to time. So I'm not a medical doctor, though. She just shakes her head.
Okay. Well,
where am I? Want me to mute myself?
Even
Even when we're done, I get muted.
it just is echoing if we don't. All right. Well, this little adventure, I think, is coming to a close. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm hopeful that this is the beginning of more opportunities to work with you all. Thank you again. And most of all, know that you are in our prayers. Every household, we genuinely pray for you, of course, in the Rosary. Thank you also for your prayers. And thank you again for your support. The oils support the mission. So it's a good win-win all the way around. So, all right. Praise the Lord. Until next time, this couple is signing off.
This is it. Signing off. Fulton Sheen Institute and Faithful Oil Mom.
Good night,
That
all.
makes me the Faithful Oil Dad, I guess.
God bless.
God bless everyone.